All right, let's spend the next couple of minutes talking about what is really going to be of much interest to Nigerians. According to the World Bank, Nigeria's diaspora remittances hit $22 billion in 2017, now the highest in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yes, indeed. It is, however, unfortunate that these set of Nigerians who contribute so much to the country's economy do not have a say when it is decision time on election days. For years, they have clamored to be included in the electoral process in their various locations, but have not succeeded. The National Assembly has failed to amend sections of the Constitution and the Electoral Act 2010 as amended to allow Nigerians abroad participate in the electoral process and vote on the ground that the project was too expensive and essentially unripe for Nigeria.
Now, Ghanaians in the diaspora will vote in the next 2020 elections, along with about 28 other African countries who have made provisions for their citizens living abroad to vote in local elections, leaving Nigeria behind. All right, we have in the studio the CEO, Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit, London, Chief Bimbo Roberts Folayan. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Good to see you.
Yeah, and we also have the Financial Director, Nigeria Diaspora Direct Investment Summit, London, Honorable Wilson Balogun. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let me start with you, Bimbo Roberts. When it comes to voting, different governments have said Nigeria is, in fact, the word unripe. Nigeria is not ripe for having diaspora vote, but we have other African countries that are even far younger than Nigeria in every sense of economic, political development and all of that, doing all of these things. What's the difference? What are they doing? What is Nigeria not doing?
It seems to me to be an indictment on the government, even on the National Assembly itself. It simply means that even their own election was not properly conducted. So when they say that they're not ripe or they're not ready to allow diasporans to vote, it means that the electoral process is still very faulty. And I want to agree with that on one hand, but on the other hand, to disagree with them that we have the capacity, we have the capability, we have the wherewithal to be able to do it. It's simply that we're not doing it, and that's a problem. So what you find in Nigeria is that we have people who were out of the National Assembly initially, and I have specific names. I don't want to mention now. Actually, we have somebody from Spain who used to be like us, living in the diaspora, who was clamoring for us to have diasporans to vote, but who is also in the National Assembly, but is one of the major opponents of that. So that's a big thing for us. So it's a little bit deep.
Okay. So Wilson, let me bring you in. How much difference really would it make for diaspora to vote when it comes to elections? And how much difference really, apart from the political angle, how much difference are you making to the economy? Yes, we have $22 billion coming from diaspora.
Thank you, Ngozi. It's a pleasure to be here. First and foremost, I think the federal government of Nigeria, they have not realized the potentials of the diasporans. Let me give you statistics. I mean, from the World Bank data, Nigeria has well over 17 million citizens resident abroad. Out of these 17 million statistics of Nigerians resident abroad, Nigerians alone in 2016 had remittances of almost close to $20 billion, second to oil, as a kind of investment into Nigeria. In 2017, the Nigerians in the diaspora had a contribution of close to 30 billion, about 25 billion investment into this country. And the federal government of Nigeria yet have not recognized the power of the diasporans. Now, if you disenfranchise an active, intellectually mobile populace, and you cut them off from the voting process of a nation, these are intellectuals who have gone abroad, they have studied in the best universities of the world, they have worked in the best institutions of the world. We are in a digital age. If America can do it, if they can create an institution called electoral process that allows citizens of America to vote from anywhere in the world during an electoral process, and they have a say in the governance of their nation. I am questioning the federal government of Nigeria, and I am challenging the institutions of the government of Nigeria, from the National Assembly to the presidency, to act now before they allow issues to go out of hand.
Yeah, but INEC is saying, look, we don't even have the funds. If we're going to allow diaspora to vote in the first place, we need to get an accurate data of the number of Nigerians out there, first off, to get a register, to get an accurate register, and that will cost money. Is diaspora thinking about maybe helping out in that area?
Yes,
is that something you'll be willing to do?
So that's something that we've tried to do in the past.
Okay.
We've had so many projects to get the accurate data of Nigerians in diaspora. I remember that in some few years back, NIDO, Europe, actually embarked on a project to, in partnership with the federal government, to conduct a sort of a census of Nigerians who live in the diaspora. Unfortunately, and the way these things work with the federal government, sometimes when you have a partnership with government in Nigeria, things just don't work as you expect them to work.
Yeah.
I know that for sure that in the UK we've had so many efforts, we've made so many efforts to get accurate data of Nigerians who live in the diaspora. But usually when you're working with it, you have to work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And you have to work with the mission anywhere you are to be able to do that properly. But it's not really that straightforward.
Okay.
So the government has to do something about it, yeah.
Okay. Wilson, maybe let me come to you on this. We are where we are right now already, but what needs to be on ground to have this, to create a room where Nigerians or diaspora Nigerians begin to vote? What are the things that have to be considered?
Oh, thank you very much. Let me take you back to history lane. For any nation to become successful, institutions have to be created and backed up by laws. There must be a template. The institutions of government in Nigeria should be treated like a project. I'm a project specialist. For any project to be successful, you must have a start date and a finish date until the people in power in Nigeria considers the governance of this nation as a project, where you say you want to create an enabling environment for those in the diaspora to come and vote. And the first thing you need to do is to create a project template to say, we want it, and create a timeline for this. We have Nigerians in the diaspora who are eager, who are yearning to be part of what is happening at home. No, they are not just doing that. They are contributing massively to the growth, to the economy called Nigeria. Outside oil, the Nigerians in the diaspora are the highest contributor to the economy of Nigeria in terms of foreign direct investment. And this is just the ones on paper. On recorded transactions, I can guarantee you, if I'm leaving Britain and I come with 100 pounds to Nigeria, it's undocumented. And I can assure you, if the World Bank says 22 billion was remitted to Nigeria, guess what? Multiply that number by 5. You will be talking of 100 billion US dollars within a year have flown into Nigeria. Now, to create an institution where the Nigerians in the diaspora will be counted as part of the citizens of this nation, I challenge the federal government of Nigeria to create a kind of a committee where the Nigerians in the diaspora will be part and parcel of that committee. Every nation on earth has a Nigerian commission, Nigerian High Commission. We in Britain, of the NDDIS, the Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit, we have very good working relationship with the Nigerian Embassy in London. All they need to take is use maybe 2 nations on the earth, on earth, Britain and America, and use them as a pilot scheme to say, within 1 year, we want to run a pilot scheme with Great Britain and with the United States of America, and engage some of us who are technocrats, who are experts in governance, in corporate world. Many Nigerians living abroad, I can assure you, We have seen it all. We have worked in the private sector, in the government, public sector, and we know exactly how to make this work. So we need the government to partner with us.
Great. Talking about remittances, Bimbo Roberts,
Yeah.
Are we looking at diaspora contributions only in terms of cash, or in terms of more concrete things like, look, Nigeria's health sector is in shambles. The education sector is not where it should be, and every other sector that you can even begin to imagine. Are you looking at ways of, encouraging Nigerians in the diaspora to actually help out in these areas without necessarily sending money, but maybe building hospitals, building schools, and things like that?
So that's exactly what we are trying to do within the Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit. This platform was set up about 5 years ago, purely to discourage this sort of remittances that we have at the moment.
Okay.
That is properly undocumented. The one that we are trying to encourage is for Nigerians who have lived in the diaspora for 15, 20, or 30 years, who want to come back to their country to actually come and set up businesses. And we're beginning to encourage Nigerians who live abroad to look at all various sectors of the Nigerian economy and then invest into them. So what we do is that we engage with we've created a bridge and a platform that enables Nigerians who live in the diaspora to engage with home. So like we have a summit coming up next week, Thursday and Friday. We're inviting, we call it Nigerian Communications Summit. So we've invited the Minister of Communications and Technology, invited the Director Generals of all the parastatals. And we've done several of such similar summits in the past. What we do is that we bring them to London, they pitch to the diaspora. And we go to the diaspora, we invite diaspora business leaders. In the UK alone, we have minimum 300,000 business leaders who have businesses in the UK. So the population of Nigerians in the UK officially is about 850,000, but unofficially we know we're about 2 million. And with the 2 million, we have minimum 300,000 business leaders. Some of them have SMEs mainly. Some have shops, some have projects, they have shipping agencies, they have various types of businesses. And we encourage them, we say, come back to Nigeria, set up a branch in Nigeria. When you set up a branch, we create employment in the local economy. And it's a win-win for us because the Chinese are doing it. The Chinese are all over Nigeria, so there's no reason why you love your country even much more than somebody coming from China, for example, cannot set up businesses in Nigeria. And it's working. So since we started 2013, we've had 5 summits so far. And all of those summits have been very, very successful. So we've had people, diasporans, with initiatives. We have diasporans that have a little bit of contribution into their mortgage. We draw part of those savings. And then we have about 25 billion of our savings in NatWest, Barclays Bank, sitting down there, earning us peanuts. So we're encouraging them, bring out your savings, invest it in the Nigerian economy to help transform the economy of Nigeria. But you see, the problem is this.
Yeah.
So we're doing our own part, but then it has to be a handshake. It has to be 2 people shaking each other's hands.
Between who and who now?
Between the diaspora and Nigeria.
Okay.
So where we extend a hand of love,
yes,
we expect a reciprocation of what we've extended to Nigeria. But this is where the problem comes from. So we have a communication summit coming up in a week's time. We're going through a lot of challenges in order to get the Nigerian part to, play their own role. To reach out. For example, we've invited...
What do you think is responsible for that? Is it a question of not inadequate information? Are Nigerians not just getting informed, or they're not interested? Or are you guys talking over their heads in a way that they don't really understand what you're talking about?
Oh, thank you.
How important it is for them to reach out?
Thank you very much for that. I will give you instances. The Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit, like Chief Bimbo have just said, is a bridge. It's a centralized business hub where Nigeria, on one hand, we partner with Nigerians in the diaspora on the other hand. And we want the government of the nations of those in Britain, of which we represent, to have a handshake with the government of Nigeria. We are focusing on several sectors, ranging from agriculture to the oil and gas, to the infrastructure sector, to ICT communications. And I'll give you instances. I am I'm an oil and gas executive. I work in the oil and gas sector. We have brought in more than 50 UK oil and gas companies to Nigeria. They are doing businesses in Nigeria. We are extending that same opportunity to the agricultural sector, to the communications and the ICT sector. The question we're asking ourselves is the Nigerian government embracing this? Do they understand the potentials? The Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit has strong partnership. Even the UK government.
And you say it's a non-profit organization?
The UK government.
In order not for us to deviate from the real topic here, because we don't have all the time, Bimbo Roberts, let me come to you on this now. When it comes to voting of diasporans, does it lie on the table or on the hands of government or in INEC? Because INEC is originally the body responsible for deciding who votes and how the voting should take place.
I think so long as the enabling law that establishes INEC has been passed, I think that responsibility falls under it's a responsibility for INEC. So anything that you're going to talk about voting, it has to be INEC. Because INEC was created by an enabling act of maybe the National Assembly or by the federal government or whatever. So the power entirely lies in the hands of INEC. So their own responsibility is to marshal all the resources necessary. Reach out to the ministries, foreign ministry, for example, get them to provide them with the kind of information that they need. They need to work with the foreign missions. And just like Honorable Wilson mentioned, why not we do a pilot project? In fact, instead of looking at two countries, why not start with a country like UK? UK has the largest mission all over the world. It's the most important mission, I dare say, for Nigeria. So why not use that as a platform to say, let's do a pilot project. Let's see whether this can work. Because things are a little bit more under control in the UK. We have information. In the UK, you can work with the community. By the way, UK is the only country that has a central body that looks after all the professional, the social, all the different groups of Nigerians. You know, virtually all the states of Nigeria are represented in the UK, and they all have associations. Virtually all the professional bodies, medical association, accountants, nurses, IT professionals, virtually every one of them have associations. So we have a platform that falls under what we call CANOC, which is the Central Association of Nigerians in the UK. And that is a platform that you can engage with entire Nigerians that live in the UK. Unlike other countries where you still have to be looking for Nigerians, it's so easy. So you could use the UK as a pilot, and let's see how it works.
But when they say it is quite expensive, we've heard government officials say it's quite expensive to run this. On the other hand, one would say, okay, why don't we start from any of the African countries that are close by?
Some would even say, why don't we just deal with the disenfranchised Nigerians, like the prisoners, first, before we even begin to talk about diaspora Nigerians in terms, you know, in the area of voting. And the INEC chairman, you know, has also said that maybe diaspora Nigerians need to begin to influence the National Assembly to amend the constitution in such a way that it will fast track the you know, whole process of diaspora voting.
Yeah, just to make
very
it
quickly.
just to make it
we've overshot ourselves.
Sorry, we have to leave it there now.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Wilson Balogun, Financial Director, Nigeria Diaspora Direct Investment, and Bimbo Roberts Folayan, the CEO of Nigeria Diaspora Direct Investment. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.